So I went through your website and the process seems quite seamless and simple for an investor perspective, meaning if I come to your website, go through the whole process. So for our viewers to understand, if an investor come to your website, how do they invest in the asset from the beginning till the middle ground when they can expect the return of investment? Lastly, how they can cash out. Because what I've understood from other real estate fractional investment companies, they keep a certain limitation, right? There's a duration of a period when you can park your money. So you can't cash out maybe 1 year before or 2 years before. So when it comes to Clara West as an investor, what all process I'll be going through in terms of investment with your asset?
Yeah, definitely. So, when people actually come on our platform, you can visit our properties page. For our properties page, you'll see these cubes which are related to every property that is live on our platform, which will kind of tell you what is the ticket size per investor, where the location is. Once you log in and access the website, you'll now see like the more in-depth information. One issue with also real estate investment is there is a lot of unstructured data. So you know that oh मुझे इधर invest करना है, पर उसके लिए what all information you have to see. You have to go to 10 different websites, maybe look at the developer track record, maybe look at why the location and stuff like that. We are trying to kind of make that into a structured information and put it all on that one page of then one property. So when you come on the, let's say you select property A. We also are a big fan of naming our properties. So we love to name our properties. Our first property was named Surya. Second property was named Zen. We have Highlands. We have Tierra. So big fans of that. So you will look at like a property. Let's say Highlands. You will understand what is the location aspect of it. Why? What are the key important factors of that location? Developer track record. Why invest with the developer, configuration of that asset. If there are, we are very clear and transparent about all the, how do we come with that X investment amount. So property price kya hai, maintenance kya hai, stamp duty kya hai, all that you will see. Once you are okay with like, okay, this sounds good, I want to learn more, you just click learn more. We reach out to you and then actually the conversation starts. One thing, as you already mentioned, that, education is the main aspect for it. Yeah. So no one is honestly, at least till date, is like come on the website and be like, okay, let's do it. Let's invest like 1 lakh or 5 lakh. So we then have conversation with the people. We explain them all the stuff that I spoke earlier. Once people decide that, yes, they want to invest, we have an expression of, we perform their KYC and then expression of interest agreement is signed with them. We actually do not take, any money from investor until the property is fully funded on paper.
Okay.
Once the property is fully funded on paper, let's say that means I found the 20 or 25 investor. That's when we reach out to the investor saying that, guys, we are now completely funded. Now is the time you transfer the money. Once the money is transferred, we actually own the asset.
Right.
There is a lock-in period. For now, we have kept the lock-in period for about 2 years. But after that, the investor is fine to sell their share. And based on like how the asset is, how the payment terms are going to be described initially only, the payments will start as and when the property is bought.
So there's no chance of an early exit?
After 2 years, definitely people can do an individual exit. But however, we are saying that, real estate is a long-term investment.
True.
So the investment period could be anywhere around 5 to 7 years. Okay. So this is something we tell our investors before they are, investing. All this is very clearly mentioned on that one page of that, property. It's also clearly mentioned in our FAQs. We also, say this to our investors one-on-one whenever we have meetings with them.
So help me understand, if there's a dashboard, I'm the user who's going to go through the property and I see what kind of data is there in terms of pricing, the developer history, like how we see with any other app like Zerodha and all. If I have to see certain stock details, I read about them, all the analysis, all the details of the past 4 years finance are shown. So when it comes to this particular asset, when I'm going through the data and history, I've also understood in the given time, and there are certain news, I don't want to take the name of the brand, when they develop a certain property and an infrastructure development has not happened around that property, that impacts your pricing, right? That impacts your the property appreciation also.
Definitely.
So how do you come in the picture? Because as I want to see, okay, Hiranandani ka ye asset aapne liya hai, but uske aas-paas ka development ka kaise you make sure that it's there, it's happening, the roads are being made, someone coming to that property, the roads which had to be taken by the maybe government has been built properly and everything, because that will affect your asset too. So how do you have, like, what kind of checklist do you have?
Yeah, so we do have a very thorough like due diligence checklist. A checklist is, I would kind of divide it into like multiple parts. One would just be like the checklist regarding the property and the legal due diligence, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say for an example, if I'm onboarding like a villa or something on the platform, or any, let's say like an apartment, any kind of asset, I will make we make sure that based on the locality, we do hire a local lawyer itself. Because there are quite a lot of intricacies with geographical location also. You know, a patta transfer might be called a satbara, and a satbara might be called a patta transfer. And we want to make sure that these local lawyers are catching these intricacies and explaining it to them. Also, language is also a main thing. So we have that legal due diligence performed for every property. Then comes the actual intangible due diligence with respect to how is the experience of the people who are already living in the property. You know, just like leakage wise, kya hai, like, you know, we also go and inspect the property. Are there any issues with the property or not? One thing that we have realized quite recently that we need to add to our checklist is actually Vastu compliance.
Yeah.
Because you know, the thing that you correctly mentioned, we can't just onboard the property thinking कि अभी उसका क्या चालू है, अभी उसके neighborhood में क्या है. We have to think about ये कितना easily resale हो सकता है.
True.
And when during that time, we have to understand what all things that third party is going to consider. So, you know, this was a very, very new, actually, just like learning for us also, that you have to make sure that, you know, अगर आप entry किधर है, kitchen किधर है, toilet किधर है. So that is something that we have added to our checklist. And as you mentioned, if there is any future development that the developer is committing to us, we kind of ask for some legal records, right? You know, कि ये हो जाएगा 10 साल के बाद, ये 11 साल के बाद हो जाएगा. These are some of the properties we are not onboarding right now. However good deal we are receiving, we will try and onboard something that we can see in the near future, 3 to 4 years. For example, like we had properties in Panvel also, and I could see the work going on of the new airport. You know, just like few weeks ago, the first test airplane actually landed on the Navi Mumbai International Airport. So, you know, we are making sure we're not onboarding properties also where the future development is so far that our investor ka investment period might end and they might not get the benefit out of it.
True. So when it comes to, of course, you have mentioned you do this due diligence, but apart from that, as an investor in my dashboard, can I see these real-time videos or photographs of this property as well?
Yes. So one good thing is, you know, if the property is already ready, the developers kind of have the, you know, what do you say, the videos and everything, and it's very easy to find it on YouTube also. The trickier question is when the property is under construction. I'll be completely honest, you know, we do not have that techie of a website right now. That's something that we definitely want to upgrade, and that is coming in the future. We want to upgrade our website where people have their dashboard. If they have done multiple investment, they can, you know, take a look at how each investment is doing. But to answer your question, we are actually doing this in a little bit manual manner. So we do send our investors, our existing, we have already funded 2 properties. So for those investors also, after every 6 months, we are sending them, we're creating a presentation and sending them, okay, तभी ये काम नहीं हुआ था, अभी ये काम हुआ है. You know, sending pictures of the building, sending pictures of the apartment, all this stuff we are doing. Even though we are not able to do it technologically or maybe real time right now because the platform needs a more upgrade, we are still trying, we are still keeping that spirit of transparency as the core in our business, and doing this manually via email or video call, or however the investor is comfortable with.
Okay. So there has been also a growing, ethical investing awareness being made by the government when it comes to fractional ownership. A lot of new policies, compliances are now in place. So when it comes to residential also, does those same policies apply there? Also, do you require license to sell these assets to those investors?
Yeah, so SEBI just came out with the small and medium-sized REIT regulation. Actually, the regulation just actually came out a few months ago. And basically that kind of considers all the real estate asset classes. They are not differentiating between commercial or residential asset class. The caveat in that is that, a company can apply for small and medium-sized REIT, or like once they have an asset of around 50 crores. So rupees 50 crores, rupees 500 crore ka value can be a small and medium-sized REIT. Our goal would definitely be a SEBI registered company, because that's when the trust also comes in, right? People start trusting it. We just feel that it'll just create more access.
Yeah.
But currently we just don't have that kind of AUM. So that's just something that we have in mind. That is our goal. But once we have that horizon of the AUM, then we'll start the process.
So you must have access to a lot of data when it comes to these assets which you have listed in your website, right?
Yeah.
So according to you, who are the buyers majorly? Are they from NRIs, or are they actually from India who are ready to, be participant in the fractional ownership when it comes to residential market?
Yeah, so I think you were right. Like two target audience. One is a little bit younger target audience, techie, who want to diversify their portfolio and want to invest some amount in real estate. Want to try it out how the asset is. The second one is a big chunk is NRI. People who want to invest back home, want to invest in India's growth story. A lot of people is like, I've heard of Oragadam in the news and I want to invest in. Oh yeah, Foxconn is coming there, right? Yeah, I want to invest there. People from Mumbai is like, or Pune is like, oh yeah, I know about Panvel. I want to invest there because it's just small amount and it does not require me to actually come to India or visit India to invest. So that has been our target audience for now.
But post-pandemic, people have said the commercial ka demand zyada badh gaya hai, right? So did it affect your vacation home asset in any way?
I think, I feel that during pandemic, obviously the vacation home also kind of boomed and grew a lot, because I think people understood the importance of getting a huge villa and coming there as a family and spending time over there. After COVID, you would know that there's all what are they calling it? I think revenge travel or something like that, right?
Yeah.
People are calling that, where people just want to be out there and go to vacation homes. Obviously, you would have realized that the rates of the hotels have gone also too much.
Yeah.
So kind of vacation homes and getting these saffron stays villa kind of makes sense, because now you have a 4 BHK, 5 BHK, you can put your entire family together and you are paying obviously a little bit lesser amount than booking 8 rooms. And then you get the service.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of gives you a whole family feeling. A service is there. The food is authentic. If you're going to Goa, you want to eat some nice fish fry, rawa masala fry and stuff. So all this actually kind of helps in the vacation home sector also. And the investor is also understanding it. That these are all the reasons that the rental is going to be higher. These are all the reasons that property price is going to appreciate.
True.
And it kind of resonates with them too.
So why I asked you this question, I want to understand in today's market, Indian real estate market, where fractional ownership and different investment platforms are existing, what are the key trends which you are noticing might even create a huge, next decade will be defined by that in this particular fractional ownership and the investment? in the coming years, where do you feel it will create that kind of noise, and what are the aspects that still needs to be worked upon, maybe by the government or maybe by the platforms itself? Where do you see what is lacking right now?
Yeah, I would love to give my 2 cents, but however, please everyone take it with a pinch of salt. I'm a newbie in this industry, so I don't want to be like chota muh badi baat kind of a situation over
Right.
here. But yeah, definitely, I think the government is doing a great job in trying to regulate it. That means that the potential is huge. You must have read that the industry is supposed to be about 5 billion by 2030. So just a huge potential. And the fact that the regulations have come up so quickly, so fast, that means there's definitely potential. We are yet to see how this will whole thing pan out. Small and medium-sized REIT, I think few of the fractional ownership platform also registered themselves as SM REIT. So we'll see how it is taken by the retail investors. After all, it is going to be the retail investors who's going to have the say in it. In vacation home areas also, we still need to figure out like what is that people are liking. We are still trying to figure out, do people really care about staying in that place, or they are just investing in a vacation home just for investment purpose? Are people happy with fractionally investing and then just not even renting it out? So these are some of the things that also we are trying to learn when we are talking to investors, and that's why like a little bit more offline release of the product than more online, because we want to understand what the customer wants and then adapt to that kind of need what they have.
So in today's time, technology is not the conversation anymore. That is a future. It's now, right? It's happening now.
Yes.
It's the necessity. Where in real estate we are seeing, there's a rapid evolving also in terms of customer preference. A lot of things are changing.
Yeah.
So how Clara West will make sure that when it comes to these opportunities, you're able to adapt with the given time, how it's getting evolved.
Yeah.
So how do you tap into when it comes to technology advancement? How do you tap into such changes in the preferences, changes in the time, like the way the technology needs to be there, convenient for the user?
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that Clara West is in the forefront when such changes are happening?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think to constantly figure out what's going on the market and to constantly understand what the customer wants is something that we are, that's the only way we are going to grow. As I mentioned that, currently we just have a platform. We would like to, upgrade the technology around it, meaning we would like to have that an investor is coming in, has his or her own profile, seeing how, the multiple investment that they have invested in, how each one of it is doing. So that's when they'll also get a sense of like diversification. Let's say I'm investing in maybe Oragadam, Alibag and Goa, and for some reason my Alibag property is not doing. I would like to understand as an investor, how's my Goa property doing? And am I really diversifying my risk? So that kind of thing, that kind of like, dashboard that, I can see it grow, how much it has grown, how much rental yield each has generated in like the historical time would be, I feel, a very key thing. The other thing is, we are still a web platform. We're not sure if we need an app or anything right now. That, the time will tell. We'll understand if we get some feedback like why don't you guys have like an app or on an iPhone or something. But the main goal and the objective is going to be to do a continuous listening to what the customer wants, understand the customer feedback, and then obviously take our best judgment and then implement stuff.
True. So developers say roti kapda makan is very important when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
Especially being the makan.
Yeah.
They think that, and they still believe, and a lot of customers also say that when it comes to buying, right, your own home, dream home, you want to see that. You don't want to simply virtually see it and then purchase. That is still not happening, especially in Indian market compared to the global market. But when it comes to fractional investment, do you believe that technology will be the only key of purchasing these assets, people are not interested to visit these assets. They are more interested in, okay, this is the return. I don't have to go and look or see how the location is or how the progress is. So do you feel that in this particular market, technology advancement is more the requirement, or it will go hand in hand, like there will be a balance between manual visit by the customer as well investing in the technology wise?
I think there are two aspects to it, right? If the ticket size is too high, maybe the person would want to see the place. But the other aspect is how famous is fractional ownership right now? Once it becomes like a regular dialogue, once it becomes like, oh yeah, like fractional ownership, something like mutual funds, like that. I think that's when people would start trusting, and that's when technology can probably take that whole aspect away of physically visiting a particular location. Do we get requests for, I don't mind investing 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, but I still want to go ahead and see the place? Yes. We still get, requests like that. And that's fair enough, right? I think it's a new concept. People want to make sure ki, I want, if it is accessible to me, if it's like a short bus ride or a plane ride, I would like to just go on a Saturday, Sunday and see the place where I'm investing. But initially, honestly, I thought that maybe like for a 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh ticket size, people might not have that, where I don't want to actually see a video tour might be okay. But no, we still get requests, and we do, honor those requests. We have people actually go see it. We try and make that happen. But yeah, as and when the concept is more established, people start trusting it, people start trusting the platform. I feel that yes, like having a real-time technology, like a video feed on the websites, so that people can actually check out what's happening on the site that they plan to invest or they already have invested. I think that should be not an issue at all.
Okay. So tell me right now, it's been how long journey for the ClaraVest? And I know it's going to sound very far-fetched, but what is the exact future goal when it comes to ClaraVest?
So journey for now, we are a year and a half old. As a company, the journey till now has been great. We are learning a lot. This is the first time we both founders are an entrepreneur. So there is a different kick to it. Every morning there is something new challenge to solve. There's a highs and lows. So definitely, personally, that's something that is very rewarding. What do I foresee in this is we definitely want to keep growing in both our verticals. So we want to keep developing our residential vertical also, and we want to keep growing on the vacation home also. As I mentioned, we are not just married to or tied to resi space. So we are open for exploring good opportunities. What we want to onboard are good opportunities which will help people, invest in good real estate asset. So that's something that we have. One of a very far-fetched, goal, and this is one of a very favorite term of my co-founder Karan. He calls it FRAS, which is Fractional Real Estate as a Service, where the dream would be that I own an asset, and now I want to liquidate the asset partially because I have sentimental value towards the asset. So I can come on the platform and fractionally liquidate that asset, gain liquidity also, gain some money also from it, but still have a percentage of ownership for the sentimental value. So there are a bunch of other thoughts and dreams that we have for the platform, and we're just working towards it day over day.
Interesting. So we did talk about the challenges that you had faced in the beginning when it comes to fractional ownership, and then the problem you face while educating the investors about it. So what challenges lies when it comes to you approaching the resi developers, right, for this fractional asset that you want to list in your website? What are the challenges there?
Okay, I'll be completely honest. When we were first starting Clara West, Karan and I thought that it's going to be like solving there'll be two sides to the problem. Like how I mean, I'm not comparing Clara West with Uber, but still, like how Uber had like to find drivers also and people who were going to take that ride. So we are like, okay, well, there's going to be two sides to it. There'll be a developer also, and we'll have to find investors also. From the developer side, from the supply side, what we have realized is actually it's not a very problematic thing to approach to developers, because developers are considering us as a different channel to sell their asset. So we haven't come across like a very tricky situation where someone just doesn't want to talk to us. They have been very welcoming in talking to us, explaining the product. So at least like that portion is solved. I'll just maybe tell you like a funny story. We when we met Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani this year, it was kind of a surreal thing. We just moved back to India, started ClaraVest just like that time. We were not even a year old. And that's when we met him. And he was very patient and kind to, understand the concept, hear us out, asked us great questions. And a couple of months later, we were onboarding his properties. Yeah. So it's just been a fantastic journey from at least like the developer side. Obviously, investor, as I mentioned, there are certain challenges, but still we were able to fund two properties. The two properties that are live right now are also, we are seeing very decent traction from investors on that. So I think it's just taking a little time, but I think we'll get there.
So supply is not an issue because so the understanding, awareness about how the platform would work is pretty much there in terms of developers knowing about it. That's great.
Because a lot of developers actually are like, okay, you are a fractional real estate ownership. Yep, okay. So, a lot of that explaining portion also is kind of gone away because a lot of people know what's happening. A lot of people also know what's happening in the fractional ownership in resi space also. Yeah. So it's not just like, sometimes they ask ki, अरे commercial ही है तो ये चल रहा है क्या? And then that's when we explain everything. They're like, okay, why not? Give it a shot. Here are the apartments. You can, if you like them, if you want to onboard them, go for it.
And there's so much of conversation recently, I think right after post-pandemic, plotted land development is the new, I think, thing where people want to do a lot of investment, be in tier 2 or the upcoming, smarter cities where the airports are being built. So would you consider that into future in, involving that kind of asset for your fractional investment?
So we do have a plotted land asset within the Hiranandani integrated township of Oragadam only. Wherein basically we are trying to understand what the market wants. When we first initially launched Clara West with the first two properties in Panvel, we actually got a lot of people asking, land, I want to invest in land, land onboard karo. But onboarding a land comes with a completely different kind of challenges, right? Like there are a lot of other issues like encroachment issues, legal verification, title issues are all there. So obviously kind of this whole plotted land, asset class which is coming up, it kind of takes that away from the investor's head, especially when the plotting is done by a tier 1 developer. They are more relaxed or inclined to invest in that. I'm honestly not sure how it will probably work in the future of like the whole small and medium size REIT. But personally, it's a great asset class, to invest on a personal level. Because the one with the Hiranandani ones, they also maintain the land. So they are also making sure that the grass on the land is trimmed, the road outside your land is maintained, the street light is maintained. So, if one can invest and one has the finances to invest, that's, based on risk appetite for everyone. the disclaimer that not anything said over here is a financial advice. But based on people's risk appetite, if that's something that they want to try it out, I mean, I think that's great too.